So here we are, part two. So, as always, we always begin with 3 ohms and we always end with 3 ohms. Of course, it isn't necessary to always do that. It's something, though, that has been such a big part of my life for such a long time that um, I don't think I know how to do like a class like this without starting with it and ending with it. It's just something that everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the ohms are like the two outer parts of the book, holding everything inside in a really good way. So before we start, make sure that, excuse me, make sure that you're just aware of your breathing. Really consciously be aware of your breathing. Just help yourself to feel it. Actually feel yourself feeling air moving in and air moving out. And as you're doing that, just sort of let your consciousness sort of relax. Allow yourself to feel really peaceful. Enjoy the rhythm of your breathing. Just enjoy the breathing. And very kindly with me, I invite you to do 3 ohms with me. Om. 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 So we go ahead and begin at least a little talk about meditation. Meditation is one of those things that, again, we were just talking about resistance to healing. Talk about resistance. Holy cow. Who hasn't had a resistance to meditation? Anyone? We all have some sort of resistance in that way. I think part of it because we want to intellectualize it. What is it? And what are you supposed to feel? And do you do this and do you do that? And brrr. It's the practice of nothingness. And that in itself seems ridiculous. It's like, what? Nothingness? It is. It is the practice of nothingness. Yes. So how could that be? So when we meditate, the first thing that we're doing is we're teaching ourselves to concentrate. Because sometimes throughout the day, we're not always concentrating. We think we're concentrating. It does take concentration to drive a car or to cook or to do certain things. You have to concentrate on the task at hand. It's true. And with meditation, it does take concentration. So here we are used to thinking concentration is like, going to the store, buying something, that's takes concentration to drive there, pick out what you need, come home, cook it. It takes concentration to do all those things. Meditation requires us to concentrate on nothingness. What? What does that mean? Concentration on nothingness. Well, the minute that we begin to start to speak about nothingness, it becomes something. So, nothingness is that difficult. So, when we start to meditate and we breathe in a rhythmic way, when you're consciously breathing in a rhythmic way where it's long and slow, what happens is that your body begins to slow itself down. anxiousness suddenly doesn't have a place to roost. It helps us to just experience a little bit more emptiness than we already had. And that emptiness, it's like being asleep. When we're in meditation, it's like at night when you're experiencing your deepest level of sleep. You have no conscious awareness that you're alive. Mm-mm. You are perfectly quiet in your mind. It's still functioning. Everything's functioning. Your body's functioning. You're breathing, but you're perfectly quiet. And you have no memory of being like this. When you wake up, you have no memory of that absolute quiet, empty space. So it makes us so that when we're awake, how do we get into that absolute quiet, empty space if we can't even remember anything about it? But there's nothing to remember because it's emptiness. So with meditation, what we're doing is we're teaching ourselves to be wide awake, but to be empty. So you see how complicated that can be. So it requires concentration. And then from that concentration, we have to let go. So we're concentrating on what? What are we concentrating on? Okay, she just said emptiness, but how do you concentrate on emptiness? First thing you want to do is take your concentration and put it upon something. So, like, this is a really pretty little piece of citrine. So, if I have this little citrine on something in front of me, maybe it's standing up, I'm just looking at it so that I'm eye level because you don't want to be down like this. You don't want to strain your neck. You want your head to be just like this. And you can look at a piece of citrine. You can look at a picture. You could look at this blue Ganesha. And what you're doing, like when you look at a deity, as you begin your meditation and you look at a representation of a deity, it's there to help you to be, to feel that feeling of emptiness and how rich emptiness is in reverence, in gratitude. Emptiness means no sorrow, no doubts, no anger, no frustration, no anxiety, no depression. So meditation really requires concentration and a willingness to let go of any disturbance within you. And you know how to do this because you do it unconsciously in your sleep. We're learning to do it consciously while we're awake. So if you don't have something to put your mind on right now, as I'm just kind of speaking here right now, I'm going to encourage you to consider what can you put your concentration on. Maybe you want to put your concentration on a color, maybe a ball of golden light, maybe a ball of white light, whatever you might like. If you do light, you might want to also help yourself to feel it coming from inside of you, moving out from you. The reason that we're meditating on nothingness is because it's for deep repair. Meditation treats the parts of us that are disruptive, that are hurt. When our mind is uneasy and it's really anxious, it creates a vibration that's very uncomfortable. Meditation is a treatment to move through us, to heal all of those thoughts that leave us like this, or like this, or like this. We don't want to have those thoughts right now. or ever, but we don't want them specifically right now because we're treating ourselves to emptiness. So it's like sleeping, but you're wide awake sleeping. Mhm. So, as you know that, it's to help you to know that you know how to sleep. And I know some of you are probably saying, do you know how hard it is for me to get to sleep? Of course, sometimes it is that way. But we're not going to actually go to sleep. We're resting. We're resting our mind. If you don't feel well, if you have the flu, you have to rest. If you don't feel well because you've overdone it in some way, you need to rest. If you've been through a terrible bout of anger, you need to rest. Rest, rest, rest. It's the best atmosphere for healing to root itself. So meditation is a way to learn to rest while you're awake. So today what we want to do is help ourselves to kind of become a little enchanted with what does this mean to rest? What does it feel like to rest? To be without agitation, to be without hurriedness, to be without anger for only a few moments by practicing restfulness. After a period of time, it's usually years, you begin to live in that space of restfulness. You begin to be able to call restfulness upon yourself. You know you can do it. So we do this by practicing. And the first things that we really experience for the first 10,000 times that we meditate is how loud our dang mind is. Because as you get really, really quiet, all of a sudden your mind just wants to chit chat, but it was chatting all along. You just were unaware of it. But as you cultivate quiet, you begin to hear how noisy the mind is and how it wants to daydream over here. It wants to remember that angry moment that you had yesterday. And let's just think about that for a little while. No, we don't want to be thinking. This is a very hard thing to do because the mind now has what I call adrenaline rushes. And it's wanting to just kind of like follow that thread of, ah, whether it be fear or anger or whatever it is. What we want to do is we want to remember that we want to learn to sleep while we're wide awake. We want to learn to sleep while we are wide awake. So we make sure that our body is straight because you want your lungs to not have any problem in being able to breathe. You want to make sure that your head is just perfectly there, chin is straight, shoulders are straight, no stiffness in this posture, no stiffness whatsoever. You want to be as relaxed as you possibly can. If you can sit in a yoga pose, lovely. If you need to sit in a chair, lovely. I don't always recommend laying down because we can go to sleep. So practicing meditation requires for us to sit up so that we don't sleep. But here's the exception to that. If you have a hard time falling asleep, you can practice meditation while you're laying down, and it may help you to go to sleep. Maybe you need a nice nap in the afternoon because you didn't get enough sleep last night. Start with this, what we're going to do. Start with this long and slow breath. Because when you breathe long and slow, it means that you feel secure. When we have fear or nothing, right? So, what we're doing is we're putting fear and anxiousness to rest while we're awake. We're understanding that if we follow our breath, it helps our mind to calm down because how we breathe is how we think. Anger has its own rhythm of breath. Anxiousness has its own rhythm of breath. Depression has its own rhythm of breath. Hmm? When you're feeling really happy and peaceful, you don't breathe like this. It's showing the disjointedness of our thoughts. We're probably stuck in a whole series of thoughts in that moment that we can't seem to get out of. So the practice of meditation makes us aware. It makes us aware of our breathing, makes us aware that we have control over our breath. Because chances are good your parents didn't tell you how to control your breathing because nobody taught them. So breathing rhythmically is very important because it has a type of self-control. When we're feeling anxious, we're not practicing self-control. I'm choosing anxiousness as a word to talk about in this way because every single person has anxiousness. We could call it anxiety, but there's so many different degrees of anxiousness, which is really fear of the future, which could be of the next moment, the next day, whatever it is. It could be a holdover from yesterday and you're still projecting out into the future. Whatever it is, let us today know that it's there, sort of like just accepting it. It's like, okay, I accept that there's, a lot going on in my mind. I accept it. It means acceptance doesn't mean you condemn or condone. It means you're just aware that it's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice coming into a space where we can sit really, really quietly. So I'm just going to guide you through the first part a little bit just to help you to have something there that you can listen to so that you remember that you're not falling asleep, but it's kind of like falling asleep, but you're wide awake, wide awake. This is not hypnotherapy. I'm not talking about it in that way when I say wide awake, because they use that term too. I'm saying it to you so that you remember, don't go to sleep while we're practicing meditation. They're two different things. Now, it may make you sleepy, and maybe afterwards you might want to get up and walk into your bedroom and have a nice long nap, and I encourage it. Absolutely. So I'm just going to do a little kind of a breathing intro here to our quiet space. And then in our quiet space, it's just about you letting yourself be really, really calm and quiet. If you want to imagine a place that you can sit and hear the water, maybe there's a window in your life that you've liked to look out of. You can start by doing that. Whatever it is that brings harmony or peace into you, let yourself go to that. So just make sure that you're straight so that your lungs have all the capacity to breathe as deeply as possible. And I'm just encouraging you to follow my voice for just this little bit and follow it into absolute quiet where you'll be there for just a few minutes, okay? And then I'm going to ask you to come back. And so we begin by breathing in long, deep, luxurious breaths of air and releasing long, deep, luxurious breaths of air. And with every breath of air that we breathe in long and slow. And with every breath of air that we breathe out we also continue practicing long and slow. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, know that your mind and your body are following these breaths. And you begin to feel all parts of yourself wanting to relax, wanting to let go, wanting to experience healing. So quiet, so deep within yourself, long and slow. And know that as we breathe long and slow, that it creates our heart to begin to beat long and slow. The rhythm accompanies our breath, and our mind begins to go deeper into the feeling of love. And you feel yourself going deeper into love. It pulls you, and you do not resist. You want this healing. You want to feel your inner strength. You want to heal all parts of you. You know you do. Very kindly continue to breathe long and slow. This is your time to have deep relaxation in your mind. This is for you. So quiet. It's really been a short period of time, 2 minutes. Quiet for 2 minutes. very kindly be aware of your mind and your body together, practicing meditation. Let it move deep, deep inside your mind. Let it go to memories from a long time ago. Breathe it deep into your mind. Wherever you have pain, let it rest. And very kindly be aware of your breathing and begin to consciously breathe long and slow. And this rhythm of long and slow is the song of peace. Long and slow is the rhythm of peace. And very kindly know that we are getting ready to return. Be aware of your breathing, and this time breathe in very deeply and release very deeply. Breathe naturally. One more time, breathe in very, very deeply. Release this breath slow and deeply. And let it move right straight into breathe naturally. And this time, breathe in very, very deeply. And this time, as you breathe out very deeply, follow that breath back to us. And slowly and gently open your eyes and return. Isn't it interesting that we resist this? It feels so good. Emptiness. There's space inside your head. There's space in your heart. There's space in your lungs. You have space to feel love today. You've created a space for your own healing. And you only did 2 minutes. But to do 2 minutes sincerely is far better than somebody struggling to sit for 60 minutes wondering what time it is. Oh, yeah, I meditated for 60 minutes. No, you chased your thoughts around. Do it, do it with your heart, with intention. Help yourself to be slow. Help yourself to be still. Help yourself to heal the sorrow so it does not morph into anything that's disagreeable with being a human being. If you can do this one time a day, you could do it 3 times a day. Anywhere. You can do it in your car. You can do it in a closet. You can do it in a bathroom. Sounds disgusting, but sometimes we need it that much. You can do it anywhere. And then when you come home, you can go to your space, your own little quiet space, and let the day go in 2 minutes. And as you practice this, you will start to crave 4 minutes. And over long periods of time, you will crave 10 minutes. If you can sit this quietly for 10 minutes, your life will change in ways that truly you can't imagine right now. So I hope that you continue to practice long and slow, healing yourself through silence, knowing that you do not have to sit for an hour. There is not one particular way that you need to follow. Meditation is like prayer. I don't know why people charge for it. You can do it on your own. Really. Never be fooled by how basic it is. You don't have to complicate it. So I hope in this next month, because our word is empathy, I hope you focus on empathy and just keep breathing in and out, long and slow, and you'll realize that you're feeling pain that does not belong to you. But you feel it, and it would be really beautiful for you to send love to wherever that pain is coming from. You don't have to look for it, just send it out. But the pain that you feel from others is not your pain. But we feel one another's pain. And it's important to know the difference. So I hope over this next month, you participate in your own quietness and empathy. Okay?
What does watch mean? You shared it with us last month. So
Oh,
was the words, actions, thoughts?
oh yes. Somebody just asked what the word watch, the acronym WATCH, WATCH. This comes from my teacher in India who was observing people looking at their watch while he was giving a discourse. I can't even imagine, but there you go. And he says, "What are you looking at your watch for? What are you looking for?" And he says, "This is what you need to watch. You need to watch your words, your actions, your thoughts, your character, and your heart." That's the acronym for WATCH. Want me to tell you again? Words, actions, thought. Wait, WAT, yeah. Words, actions, thoughts, character, and heart. If we watch those things, we'll be at peace. Tick tock. Is there any more? Okay, so watch. Watch is the word. Okay, till next time. Peace be with you. Namaste. Oh, let's I'm sending you away without your owns. Om. 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 Now we're tucked in. Sweet dreams.